Hello guys, today I'm going to talk about insulin dose timing. When is the best time for us to take the insulin before our meals so we can prevent any unwanted spikes in our blood sugars or any drops in our blood sugars? For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Mihail Burcea. I'm a diabetic type 1 for about 10 years now, and on this YouTube channel I make videos about diabetes type 1 management. Let's talk a little bit about the importance of a good timing when we take the insulin. Let's say we have a great tuning in carbs to insulin ratio, and we know exactly how much insulin we need for a specific amount of carbs. But still, sometimes we have big spikes or drops, and we don't realize why. If the timing is wrong, even if you have great insulin to carb ratio, it's tuned perfectly, we are not going to achieve good blood sugar numbers. If the timing of your shot is not good enough, you will end up either being low or high. And we can avoid that quite easy, finding out what is the right timing for each one of us. I wanted to make a video about this because I overlooked this issue, so I didn't pay too much attention. I thought if I eat low carb, because I eat low carb, taking the shot a little bit later than I supposed to, and than I used to when I was eating higher carbs foods, I thought it's not going to have a great impact. It's not going to matter too much, but looks like the story is different. I had the chance to realize actually how bad my timing goes recently when I had more time for my experiment, and my schedule was a little bit different than before. And also on top of that, I did have my new Dexcom, which I started to use for about 2-3 months. It's going to be 3 months soon. So having all this together, I had a chance to actually realize how wrong I was with my timing for some of the meal, not for all of them. So I thought, since I was so wrong, I was wondering how many other guys there are also wrong. So I just wanted to make this video, hoping maybe I'll help others to pay a closer attention to the timing of the insulin, which is quite easy thing to handle. Guys, if you like what you see, please show me some appreciation, some support by hitting the like button, subscribe to my channel, leave some comments below with your thoughts if you like this video, if you want me to talk about other topics. Hit the notification bell so you can get notified each time I upload a new video. As I said, lately I had more time because my schedule changed a lot by being home due to this pandemic. So I started to change my schedule, the time of my breakfast, when I eat, how early I eat, when I go to bed. So I noticed lately for a while I was having issues with my blood sugars after my breakfast. The numbers weren't significantly off, but still they weren't where I wanted to be, and I thought, well, why shouldn't I try to do it better, because I have the chance now. So after I was eating, my blood sugars were going up around 7-ish, sometimes 8-ish after my breakfast. And my breakfast is a low carb breakfast, is nothing high in carbs, and before the breakfast my blood sugar was still in good ranges, 5-ish, and I end up going high, and then sometimes I was dropping after. So I was thinking something must be wrong. I have a dedicated video about one of my favorite breakfasts, low carb breakfast, which is really good for diabetes. I like it. If you want to see it, click the card which will pop up in top of this screen. So I started to put some tests into it, trial and error tests. This is how I learned everything I do good with my diabetes. It came out of trial and error. So I suggest you all to try and test on yourself, but please make sure the testing you are doing, it's smart, it's informed, it's educated. You don't do anything which is something which you are not comfortable with and you don't know about it. You don't have to do that. You have to check with your doctor if you don't know what you are doing. In one of the mornings when I woke up, I was slightly higher. So I was around 6-ish, if I remember, 6.5. I usually like to be around 4.5, anywhere between 4 and 5.5, I'm happy with it. But if I'm 6 or 6.5 or 7-ish, I'm not happy with it. So in that morning, I said, because I have the luxury now, I don't have to eat immediately after I wake up like I used to do before. So now, because I had the time, I said, you know what, I'm going to push my breakfast later. So I woke up, I checked my blood sugar, I saw it's slightly higher. I took my insulin, I took my normal dosage of insulin, and I top it up a little bit with an extra 1.5 or 2 units of insulin to counter that slightly higher blood sugar. So once I took my insulin, I told myself I'm not going to start to eat until I start to see a drop into the blood sugar. Since I have the Dexcom now, I can pretty much see a trend going down. So I said I'm just going to wait. Instead of eating 10 minutes after like I used to do, now I'm going to wait maybe longer and see how long it takes until I see a drop into my blood sugars. So I set up my breakfast, I put everything in the plate, everything was ready, and then I just started to wait until I see a drop. And it was quite surprising because time passed and my blood sugar was not dropping, was still staying there, not moving down. And I checked my prick finger, and still it was the same with the Dexcom. So I just kept being stubborn, and I said I'm not going to do it. I had the glucose next to me. I was confident. I knew how quickly the blood would spike after my breakfast. So I was quite okay with it. So guys, what do you think? How long it took until the blood sugar started to creep down? So it took 45 minutes. So only after 45 minutes, I started to see a slow drop in the blood sugar. So the blood sugar started to creep down a little bit. So when I saw it being in the 5-ish, 5.5, I just started to eat. So after I finished my breakfast, I had a cup of coffee with milk in it, as I usually do. And then I just checked my Dexcom. I kept my eyes closed on my Dexcom and watched my blood sugars to see if I'm going to have a drop or what's going to happen. And what do you think, guys, happened? Before I show you what happened, I'm going to jump on my laptop and show you the graphs from Dexcom. I have to tell you, I had to run this test for about 2-3 days. So I did it in 2 consecutive 2 days, and in another day separately to see how fast the insulin is actually kicking in. And it turns out for me it's somewhere between 40 minutes or 70 minutes. I'm not sure what difference, what is causing this discrepancy from 40 minutes to actually 70 minutes. It's quite something. But I know for sure it's not going into my bloodstream. I don't see any drop earlier than 40 minutes. So after 40 minutes, I start to see a decrease, and then it starts to go down, and I depends how high I am. If I'm 4, I'm going to drop. So I have to eat a little bit earlier than 40 minutes. And 70 minutes, I suspect it was in one of the days when I had a poor sleep. And this could be one of the reasons, but I'm not sure entirely. So let's jump on Dexcom Clarity app on my laptop so I can show you the graphs from the days in which I run the test to make the comparisons, how it was before when I was just eating 10 minutes after the shot, and how it was after I waited longer, up to 40 and 70 minutes longer. And I'll show you. Hi guys, here we are on my laptop. I'm logged in into my Dexcom Clarity account. I pulled data for the last 14 days. You can see here between 3rd of June, which is today, and 21st of May. And I am looking for the patterns I want to show you, which usually is around breakfast time. My breakfast time is, I always wake up around 11ish, 10, 11, because I go to sleep very late, around 3, 2, 3 in the night. So I was having this issue most of the time. So around 12 I eat, and this is the spike. Not too bad here, 7, a little bit over 7, and then it's dropping a little bit because, as I said, I think I over-treated because I was trying to counter this. I was experimenting. This is one of the examples. Here we have another one, again around 12ish, again up, and this one was pretty close, but still I didn't like this. Trying to think about if I can do better than this. So I wake up good, in good range here, 5ish, which is great for me. Towards morning, toward 11 it's creeping up a little bit, and then I eat, going down. That's another example. Here it's actually worse, as you can see, because I woke up slightly higher. See, slightly higher, and I just ate without waiting anything, and 8 point something, and then dropped. And this is something I was trying to stop, and this is why I have run the test. Yes, and here now we have examples after I waited, so you can see the differences. So this is yesterday. So I did the same. I had my breakfast around 12:01 here, I think, and you see, you can hardly see. You don't even realize when I had my lunch, my breakfast. Look, it's here a little bit higher, but I think this was before my lunch because it's a little bit higher, and I waited until it dropped a little bit. But look how nice, it's a little bit higher and then up and down. It's great. It's just, this is what I want. This is the result I had because I waited. And I will show you for today as well. This is from today, but this is not picking up. I'm going to take a screenshot from my mobile so you can see it. But this is how I wake up around 6, and then I take the shot here, exactly here. I take the shot, and then I don't eat until I see the drop in my blood sugar. So I just waited to see it creeping down in the 5ish, and then I started to eat when it was around 5.5. And you'll see the results from that. As you can see, guys, the results are astonishing, are absolutely great for me. I'm really pleased with them. So it's exactly what I was looking for, to counter that spike, that curve, to not be there if it's possible. I was thinking for a long time how that might be possible, and here I am. It's doable. All it takes is to run this test, to figure out how much time it takes until the insulin kicks in, and then you do it. It's not too hard to wait 30-40 minutes for me before most of the meals, lunch or dinner. I'm absolutely sure I can do it. For breakfast sometimes it might be difficult, but at least for when I can do it, why not to do it, to achieve great blood sugars. So if you are one of these guys like me, which you want to achieve as good as possible blood sugars, run this test, figure it out what's your time frame for the until the insulin kicks in, and then just apply it every time you have the chance. Important detail I may have to mention, I don't think this is doable even if you have the spot on timing, if you don't eat low carbs. If you have loads of carbs and carbs with high glycemic index, I'm going to make a video about glycemic index. You can click the card and check it out when it's going to be available on my channel. It's great to find out about glycemic index. So if the carbs are too many, too much, and the glycemic index is too high, I don't think it's going to be able to counter a spike. So to do it like I did with a flat curve across the meal, you need to have a low carb meal. Guys, if you want to run the test on yourself, I recommend to be very careful. So start with small steps. This is what I always do. always start to move slowly. So if depends how you do it usually. If you usually take the shot immediately before you eat, so when you start a test, please do it when your blood sugar is not in the low range area. Let's say it's around 6. Take the shot and wait 15 minutes, have your breakfast and see if there is any difference. If there is no difference at all, next time eat same breakfast and give it 20 minutes and so on, 30 minutes, until you start to see something good happening. Always have glucose around you. Make sure you have loads of glucose to counter any unwanted drops in your blood sugars. So you can do it like that, and you may find out when actually the insulin is kicking in for you, because it looks like all of us are different. I thought this is gonna kick in, they say 15-20 minutes after, but for me it's not earlier than 40 minutes. I didn't see this until I had the Dexcom, and I had a lot of time to look into it. I did a lot of testing before when I was diagnosed like 10 years ago, and but I was eating loads of high carb foods, and I was still having some insulin, and the years after, but it was different because I never had the Dexcom. I never had a full picture like I have it now. So run the test carefully. Be careful when you do it. Do it smart. Small changes, not many at a time. And if you are not comfortable, check with your doctor before. Don't do anything if you are not comfortable with it. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you get notified each time I upload a new video. Leave some comments below with any ideas. What thoughts do you have? What do you want me to talk about? If you like this or if you don't like, what do you do? What's your timing? How early you take your shot? Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you again next time.